Who's the Acting Director General at the CCK. Thank you very much for coming in. You've just been addressing a press briefing early this morning about an update on the digital transmission schedule. Where are we right now?
Right now, we have activated the first DVB-T2 digital platform in the country, which is in Nairobi and its surroundings. And we were announcing to Kenyans that the signal is available. We're also sensitizing the vendors that they can now be able to import set-top boxes that Kenyans can buy in order to be able to access this platform that will provide good quality of service and variety to them.
The infrastructure right now covers what, Nairobi only?
Nairobi and its environs.
Nairobi and its environs.
It goes up to Kajiado, Kiambu, and other near Machakos and other environs near, environs of Nairobi. But we are soon, in the next 1 month, going to announce the DVB-2 signal in Mombasa and subsequently other towns. I think the signal distributors have now readied themselves to ensure that they roll out the digital signal almost throughout the country before the end of the year.
This is a common misconception, so I would like for you to address it very quickly. What is the difference between digital migration, digital transmission, which we're going into, what we have right now, terrestrial, and pay TV providers like, say, DSTV?
Well, digital broadcasting is a technology, vis-a-vis also the technology that we're using now, which is called analog. In digital transmission, that basically you are required to send information in terms of bits, ones and zeros.
Yes.
And because of that easiness in sending those signals, you can vary them to be able to carry amount of information that the current analog technology cannot be able to carry.
Right.
For that reason, it has come up with quite a variety of advantages, ranging from the number of channels that can be carried with one TV analog signal,
yes,
to the quality of service, interactivity, and other kind of services that have not been with the analog TV signal before. We are talking about services like what we call EPG, that is electronic program guides, which will enable Kenyans even to know in advance what kind of programs they are going to see or view and manage their times properly with respect to the high number of channels they may have to come across.
So this is interesting that we have set ourselves a deadline of 2012. It now looks almost certain that we will not make that. How come?
Well, it is true that we set ourselves the deadline of 2012. Not even Kenya alone, the whole of East Africa.
Yes.
We wanted, because of management of interference from across the nations, we said that 2012 be the final deadline for June 2012, the final deadline for switchover. We also wanted to give ourselves 3 years ahead of the final switchover in order to monitor any shortcomings that may arise from migration.
Yes.
However, the realities on the ground have been different from what we theoretically planned, in that each country has gone through different phases of its own share of problems, and also other activities that were not planned before. In Kenya, for example, we had to pass a new constitution. We have also to have an election this year, and all this has costed the government a lot of money, and we expected the government will inject money into the public signal distributor, who is KBC, to be able to roll out fast and meet those phases. And because of that shortcoming, we were not able to do that. And in fact, that explains why when at first we were reluctant that we should only have one signal distributor until we are fully migrated, before we think of bringing in a competitor, that we brought in our competitor to be able to facilitate the access to digital broadcasting signals quickly. But
then that didn't go exactly well, because some of the local broadcasters pulled out of that because of misunderstanding. I don't know if that has since been sorted. One of them was, of course, the parent company of NTV.
Well, you need to know that the government offered 2 more licenses.
Yes.
And one of them through affirmative action, wanted the Media Owners Association to come together by virtue of the fact that they had already infrastructure that they could use for rolling out the digital signal distribution services to bid for that particular license. Instead, the Media Owners Association, I can say, it disintegrated in that each one of them came as an individual, or maybe two companies pairing together. So for that reason, they were not able to meet that affirmative action requirement that the government wanted. And secondly, then the bids that they offered to compete with the other players who had also offered their bids were too inferior. And some of them could not even meet the basic requirements that were being asked for. And for that reason, they didn't appear very serious for us to rely on them for migration from analog to digital broadcasting.
The other thing which is related to this and has been perhaps an unfortunate development was a closing down of Smart TV after, I remember covering the launch of Smart TV, and we specifically asked, are you going to close down like GoTV, or rather like GTV? And they said no, and then they closed down. So in the minds of Kenyans, we don't want to adopt this, and then this happens again. You might understand why that.
Well, that is interesting. Smart TV was not licensed by CCK. Smart TV came to operation under the license of KBC. We ourselves have a bone of contention with KBC because if Smart TV pulled out of the market without having to compensate the subscribers, their consumers, actually the responsibility will rely on KBC to be able to do that.
Compensate
so
them,
but I think in the morning it was clarified that that compensation was done. So we really do not ourselves see as if we lost a player because we didn't license a player in the first place. So it was just a business arrangement, and that is between KBC and Smart TV.
Has that loophole been closed so that this doesn't happen again? A player comes in through a different method, which is not directly through the sector regulator, and then lots of consumers trust them, and then they close shop.
We have actually attempted to seal these loopholes. In fact, had we not been stopped from going ahead to license broadcasters on the new platform, we had put a mechanism in place in which we were to be sure that the consumers of Kenya are protected from unscrupulous service providers. We were to do due diligence to anybody before we license them, but we are still waiting for the time that we are going to go ahead to license this before now we can firmly tell Kenyans, now we have sealed these loopholes.
We have a deadline for 2015 now, which is a global deadline, to be able to have the entire country migrate to digital broadcasting. That means we need set-top boxes. For everybody who has an ordinary TV right now who's watching this broadcast, you will be needing a set-top box. Are these already in the market, and will we be able to meet that now?
We have type approved quite a number. And as you may have realized, our launch today was also targeting vendors to start bringing in set-top boxes. And we wanted to tell them that the signal is available, and now when they bring in their set-top boxes, consumers will be able to buy them. And we are hoping that the issue of set-top boxes in terms of being available will not be the issue. The issue will be affordability. And you remember the PS said we are pursuing with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that come the next financial year, at least the zero rating of set-top boxes has been done in order to enable many Kenyans to access this service.
All right, stay with us for a moment. I'll be back to talk about the set-top boxes and how to subsidize that and a lot more. But first off, on to some controversy that has been going on for quite a while, and we've been covering